Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Gold Derby senior editor Daniel Montgomery here with our contributors Jeffrey Kare and Cordell Martin. We're here to discuss the recent 500th episode of Dancing with the Stars that just aired. And we will be discussing the semifinals, which dances will be performed during the semifinals by the final five contestants. Um, First off, let's talk about that 500th episode. I was kind of hoping for a few more blasts from the past than we got. It was just a nod here and there. Like Sharna Burgess was back, and they had some past winners and contestants in the crowd, and the celebrities performed routines inspired by past routines, which was fine. Uh, it was kind of a low key, understated celebration. What did you think of it, Cordell?
Yeah, I agree. It'd have been nice for them to kind of shout out all of the contestants that were there, maybe have like each season come down the stairs or something just to kind of acknowledge everyone's participation. Yeah, I mean, I felt it was a big letdown as much as they were hyping it up. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, that's cute. You guys danced to a few iconic songs that a lot of the stars, I'm sure, probably didn't watch a lot of those initial dances as they claim they did. But yeah, I was looking for a little bit more excitement.
What did you think, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I do agree that, yeah, that wasn't really as elaborate as you would think it should have been. Like, if they make it to 600 episodes, well, producers, if you happen to be watching this, take note that if you make it to 600 episodes, please do something please make it feel special next time around. Just keep that in mind. Like, like what we were all just saying, I guess do more throwbacks to, dances from previous seasons, even though the clip packages were neat, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, and the night ended with, sadly, or not sadly, depending on your point of view, the elimination of NBA basketball player Dwight Howard. It's sad to see him go, but also kind of the right time, like based on who's left in the competition and what their skill levels are. It's one of those things where, there's no one in the competition who I'm just dying to see leave, but there's also like a proper order to things that makes sense. And I thought this elimination made sense at this time. What did you think about it, Cordell?
My thoughts too. Initially, I thought maybe he might have had a chance just based on him having the Argentine tango. Thought maybe that would have been a big crowd pleaser to keep him safe another week. But just based on, everyone just stepping up their game that this past week, it just seemed like it was his time. And I'm glad that, the voters went in that direction, and not rob any of the five semifinalists an opportunity to continue in the competition.
What did you think of his elimination, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, even though a lot of us, probably thought that, his fan base would probably keep him safe another week, but given his end results, well, I mean, of his performances, I mean, not surprised. I mean, his first I thought was middle of the road at best. Second, well, despite his best efforts, it still wasn't much to write home about. Although I will say, during the elimination, when they got to the bottom three and the two joined them, well, following Jen Train's shocking elimination from 2 weeks ago, I was afraid we were going to get another one in a row, but glad we didn't. Plus, it really looked like Dwight's days in the ballroom were numbered.
Yeah, that was a scary three in jeopardy with Joey and Chandler both there, the highest scoring dancers of the night and the highest scoring dancers of the season. Um, when that happened, I'm like thinking, oh, Dwight's definitely out, right? But at the same time, it's like you never know.
Yeah.
Um, Especially with Jen having gone home, 2 weeks ago, maybe Bachelor Nation has is kind of over it this year, and they're not voting for Joey like we think they are. But it turned out to be Dwight and Chandler and Joey get to like go WTF on the way backstage, to prepare for the next week. Speaking of Chandler, she had the best score of the night, the first perfect scores plural of the night because both of her dances were speed tens across the board. Her first Argentine tango was pretty perfect. Like that was the perfect score dance that you want to see. What did you think about that, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy for Chandler. I'm glad her and Brandon were able to get those perfect scores. It was long overdue, but I think came at the right time in the competition. Because I feel like she was kind of getting lost in the shuffle a little bit as people like Steven and Danny were kind of coming into the fold. So it was great for her to have her moments, and hopefully that will take her to the finals as she deserves to be in the finals.
What did you think, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I thought both were pitch perfect, amazing. Like, I think she really is shaping up to be as a force to be reckoned with moving forward within the next 2 weeks. And, I think Joey has a lot to be careful of if they both make it to the finals.
And speaking of the two dances, they had one regular dance, new dance style, and then they had the instant dances, the instant dance challenge, which was a new twist this season, which I kind of dug. Um, it definitely is. You don't expect and shouldn't expect the dances to be as polished, certainly as the dances that they've had a whole week to prepare for, and they know what music they're dancing to, and they know the tempo, and they know everything that they to expect from it. To just say like, okay, here's your dance style, and here's your song. It was kind of exciting, and it did show us who is capable naturally and who's not. Like hearing from Chandler and Brandon, for instance, that they sort of made it up towards the end. Like you would never have guessed that from that routine, that they were just sort of making up the steps. What do you think about the challenge in general, Cordell? Do you want to see it again?
Yeah, I thought it was something different and a nice little touch to the show. It just depends on the cast, within that given season. I think it worked well because a lot of the cast members are really strong dancers. So I think it worked in that case. But if you get a season where there's a lot of mid to dancers, it's gonna be a hot mess. So yeah, I thought overall was great. Definitely showed who are the true contenders this season. And it kind of also showed just for some like Dwight, kind of those limitations, unfortunately. So yeah, I thought it was great.
What did you think about the instant dances, Jeffrey?
Well, I agree with what's been said. I thought it definitely gave the cast such interesting challenges to face, putting together a performance at the very last minute. So, I thought, for effort to everyone who really did their best, especially the greater ones. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it again.
And we're coming up on the semifinals. We have five celebrities left in the competition. They will all dance twice at the semifinals yet again, but this case they're going to dance to one ballroom style and one Latin style. So, are you guys interested in finding out what those dances are?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so starting with Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson, they will perform their ballroom dance is a Viennese waltz to Gravity by John Mayer, and their Latin dance is a salsa to I Like It by Cardi B, Bad Bunny, and J Balvin. I have no complaints about either of those. I think the salsa will be interesting. We haven't really seen that side of Danny really this season to a great extent. So I'm interested in seeing how he handles that one. What do you think about those dances, Cordell?
Yeah, I think he should be fine for next week. To your point, I'm curious to see how the salsa will come about, and if the judges are going to be strict with their judging for his performance, or if they're just going to be very lenient and just kind of overscore him. I feel that he has the fan votes because I don't recall him being ever called into Jeopardy at all this season. unlike the rest of the contestants. So I don't know. We'll see, but I think he's gonna have a solid showing next week.
Yeah, I think his scores on that salsa will depend on how many buttons are open on his
Exactly.
shirt.
Like, just rip off the shirt at the beginning. Just get it out the way.
Just do it. Yeah, we know you're going to do it. Uh, what do you think about those styles, Jeffrey?
Well, think they're interesting choices, not only of styles but of songs. And I'm serious and curious to see what Danny and Whitney will come up with. And I thought they both brought a ton of energy in both their dances last week. So, hey, and I agree that yeah, they should, hopefully be safe of elimination, but we shall see.
Then you've got Joey Grazide and Jenna Johnson will perform. Their ballroom routine is a foxtrot to "I Won't Dance" by Aaron Bohem featuring District 78. And their Latin dance is a Paso Doble to "Come Together" by Lennon and McCartney. That's a weird choice of song for a paso, but I do like the idea of him doing a paso at this stage of the competition because he's really developed that polish, that technique, and a good paso needs good technique to really carry off the intensity, the energy of it, and I feel like he's a good choice for that. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I think both of these dances are going to be great showcases for him. I would say at least one of them will probably be his first perfect score, leaning towards the paso. Once again, it just depends on the dance order. I feel like he probably will be last, if not close to performing last next week. Yeah, so I think these two dance styles will be great for him. Once again, to show that he's a versatile dancer and probably one to beat in this competition.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I thought Joey and Jenna put together, well, did very well last week, putting together such creative routines and, seeing how strong they've been throughout the season. I'm all for seeing what still brings their performances next week. And I too wouldn't be surprised if either of their performances brings them that elusive perfect score.
Then you've got Chandler Kinney and Brandon Armstrong. Their ballroom dance is a foxtrot to "Too Sweet" by Hozier. And their Latin dance is a salsa to "Spicy Margarita" by Jason Derulo and Michael Bublé. Interesting that, she and Joey are getting the same ballroom style. So we'll be able to kind of compare them head to head in that sense. Um, yeah, I think we'll probably get. I think the judges are getting used to giving her tens. So unless she like visibly like trips or
Mhm.
something, like I think we're looking at more tens across the board for her. I really there's nothing about these dances gives me cause for concern for her. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, as long as Brandon's able just to continue that energy of them having show-stopping routines, they should be fine. I can see the judges probably giving her a near perfect on one dance, probably the foxtrot, and then maybe getting a perfect for the cha-cha. So that way they don't, just dump all of these perfect scores on her and cause the viewers to not vote for her because they're like, well, dang, she's just so perfect. We don't need to vote for her. So I definitely could see the judges, giving her a few critiques probably on her first dance and then saying everything is perfect for a second one.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, I'm curious to see how the judges will respond to her performances, which I'm sure Chandler, I agree. I think she'll probably be fine as long as there's no missteps. But hey, I'm always looking forward to seeing what she'll bring, even though it does feel, well, of course, as you alluded to, Daniel, it feels as if the producers are trying to shape up her and Joey to be the final two, but we shall see.
Then you've got Ilona Mar and Alan Burston will perform a Viennese waltz to "Golden Hour" by Jake and a Paso Doble to "Unholy" orchestral version by Sam Smith and Kim Petras. I am a little bit nervous for her on the Paso Doble. I mean, she certainly has the athleticism for it, but again, that's a very technique heavy dance. And while she did really like bring the technique this past week for her dances, I am a little bit nervous that she's not going to get like up towards the top of the leaderboard. She might be towards the bottom of the leaderboard. She's going to need fan votes to keep her in and get her to the finals. So I'm a little nervous for her. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, to your point, I'm a little nervous, but I feel like she's gonna be the surprise that will get into the finals. I just feel like she has the fan base. She's that diamond in the rough contestant that when you see them first week, you're like, yeah, they'll probably be out mid season. But I feel like the fans are gonna rally behind her, and I'm making a bold prediction that her name will probably be called first or second as a finalist.
Yeah, she does feel like sort of like the Ali Hannigan
Uh-huh.
which never know. Maybe they'll send all five through the finals again. But
Yeah.
what do you think about her chances and her chances, Jeffrey?
Well, I mean, she may have done solid work this past week, and well, despite doing yeah, she did solid work this past week, and she may have overcome finding herself in the bottom three, but it's looking like she may be next to go, depending on how everyone else fares, even though, as Cordell alluded to, she is kind of the underdog at this point, so I guess, and also agree that she'll definitely need her fan supports to really rally around her, no matter how she ends up doing. So I guess, Alona, if you're watching this, best of luck to you.
And last but not least, Stephen Erosic and pro Riley Arnold will perform a tango to Sweet Disposition by the Temper Trap and a cha-cha to Bailar by De Oro featuring Elvis Crespo. First and foremost, timing. He needs to
Yes.
be on his timing for both of these, especially the cha-cha. Faster paced dances are the ones where he kind of his enthusiasm gets the better of him and he gets ahead of the music. He's the other one I'm worried will be, could be eliminated, in from the competition and not make it to the finale. I'd love to see a freestyle from him. That's one of the things. It'll be so much fun to see a freestyle from him. So I really want him to see him in the finale. Yeah, he just needs to get the timing down. These two are very different dances. Fingers crossed. What do you think, Cordell?
No, I agree. As long as, to your point, he's good on the timing piece and just doesn't get ahead of the music, he should be fine. I too am kind of nervous based on the dance styles if this will hurt him. But I mean, I think he has a solid fan base that will hopefully be able to, you know, take him over the hump to the finals, but we shall see.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
This past week I thought he really got back into his groove with both performances, so I hope he knocks it out of the park next week. I'd really love to see him in the finals as well, even though I am kind of worried, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed for him.
What are our thoughts now that we know those dances? What are our thoughts about the next elimination? Right now, in Gold Derby's odds, based on the combined predictions of fans who have made their predictions at goldderby.com, Ilona Maher is the likeliest to be eliminated, followed by Stephen Nedorosik. So it's looking iffy for both of them. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, unfortunately, I feel like it's one of those two. Um, if they were to go with a shocker, maybe Chandler, but I just feel like optics wise, they probably wouldn't entertain that. Um, but you never know. I could see a case for Danny. Like I said, Danny hasn't been in Jeopardy, so we really don't know where he kind of falls in line with the fan support. So it could be a case of, voters being complacent and maybe really rallying behind a Chandler or Ilona or Steven, and then he kind of falls through the cracks. So thinking Steven or Ilona, but a potential surprise with maybe Danny as a shocker.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I do have Alona and Steven as my top two predicted to get eliminated. Although I can see a world where surprisingly no one goes home and all five of them enter into the finals. So I do have no one in third place, even though, yeah, it's, given the shocking elimination of Jen 2 weeks ago, well, Danny and or Chandler or even Joey wouldn't be, well, going home wouldn't be that far-fetched.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think whether we'll see a five-person finale will depend on a last-minute decision by the producers, depending on who's slated to go home.
That's an
Like,
optic.
oh shoot, Chandler's out. No,
Yeah,
all five of you are going to the finale now.
exactly. So I'm like, it depends on the optics. So we see a
Mhm.
five-person finale. We know what happened.
So who do we think is going to win the competition at this stage of the game? Joey had been the front runner in our odds at Gold Derby for a few weeks as he was starting to ascend, but with those perfect scores, Chandler's back on top in the odds. It's looking like one of them. What do you think, Cordell?
Yeah, I think it's down to the two of them. Selfishly, I would love for Chandler to win. I think she's just been kicking butt, and it's just great for Brandon to have his moment after so many early eliminations and not really getting to show his full potential as a pro. So I would love for them to win. However, knowing the track record, I'm preparing myself for Joey to possibly win.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
I do have Chandler winning, although Joey isn't far behind, especially if, Bachelor Nation really comes out for him. It wouldn't be shocking in the slightest if he were to win, even though he would definitely be one of the better Bachelor Nation alum to win, in fact, or if not, probably one of, if not the very best of them to pull it off. But, this competition ain't over until it's over.
Yep.
Yeah. And until it's over, you can go, if you're watching this, you can go to goldderby.com and make your predictions every week to decide, who will be eliminated, who will get the high score, who will get the low score, and of course, who will win the whole competition. That answer, of course, won't be decided until the finale in a couple of weeks. So, until then, thank you, Jeffrey, and thank you, Cordell, for joining me to discuss this week's show and next week's semifinals. And thank you, everyone, for watching.